Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Mount Juliet Board of Commissioners. Today is May 11th. The time is 5:15, and we will be holding a work session until 6 p.m., and it's to discuss the sewer rate study. And immediately following this work session, we will hold our regularly scheduled meeting. So the public is invited to attend and comment. So if there's no objection, I move that we set the agenda as it's published. Any objections? Hearing none. So at this point, we'll open the floor for citizen comments. If there's any citizens in the audience that would like to address the Board of Commissioners, this is your opportunity and you'll be recognized for 3 minutes. Please form a line. All right, seeing no one for citizen comments, we'll move on to presentation. Mr. Martin, this is under your sponsorship. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Appreciate everybody taking time to come in early today before the commission meeting to get this update. I will turn it over now to Mr. Shane. I'll let Shane give you guys a presentation and introduce you to our guests.
Good evening. We've got Buddy Petty and Jack Ellison with rate studies. The time has come for us to reevaluate our rates. The current 5-year capital improvement plan is winding down, and we're setting forth for our next 5 years. In addition, with the Metro contract that's up in 2029, we decided to go ahead and sign Buddy up. And he's done our rate studies previously. And with that, I'll let those gentlemen talk numbers. Buddy Petty and Jack Ellison with rate studies. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Shane. Well, first of all, Mount Juliet is a very special place to me. We moved here in 1984, lived here for 32 years, raised our 2 boys here. Back then, Mount Juliet was a lot smaller than it is today. So it's a very special place to me. And this is our 3rd rate study working with the city. And just want to give you an overview of what we've got in this rate study. So you mentioned the capital improvement plan, obviously very, very special, and it drives a lot of things. Not only does it impact you from a capital standpoint, but also from a depreciation standpoint, and you'll see that in here as we get into it. We look at your past 5 years and make projections for the next 5 years. We're projecting growth, we're projecting revenue, we're projecting expenses, and all of that kind of ties into 2 main analysis that we do. A cash flow analysis, which most everybody is interested in because that shows how much money you got at the bottom line. Is that going up or going down? And then we do a statutory change in net position analysis. And this is a little bit different. It's kind of hard some folks to really grasp what it is, but basically it's similar to the cash flow, but it also includes depreciation as an expense. Doesn't include the capital portion, but it does include depreciation, and that is what's driving the rates really. You've got you'll see in here where you're growing pretty good, but your expenses is also growing a little bit more. I've had the pleasure of working with Jack Ellison for about 6 or 7 years now. He was with me when we did the last rate study here back in 21, I think. So it's been about 5 years. And this is not, I just want to warn you, you really need to look at your financial positions every year in conjunction with what we project in the year. We're projecting 5 years because we want to give you kind of a forecast. But these are just projections. Hopefully, we're pretty close. But, I mean, it might be, you might need to go up a little bit, or if you're seeing you're doing very, very well, you might not have to go as much rate increase as we're projecting, say like in years 4 and 5. I'd say 2 and 3 are pretty close, but, at that, I'm gonna turn it over to Jack, and, Jack, take it away.
All right, thank you, Buddy. Just as a reminder for those of you who don't know Buddy, Buddy is a professional engineer who's done this kind of work in engineering, water and wastewater engineering for how many years, Buddy?
Well,
Long
long
time,
time.
long time. So he understands well the infrastructure issues and the needs of this. He certainly done it. He asked me to join him about 5, 6 years ago. I'm a retired CPA, and so I'm the guy who looks at it more from a financial standpoint in terms of saying, okay, how do we coordinate this data with the financial statements, and then how do we look at it in terms of projections too? So I'm going to walk you through some of the things that make up what end up being, as you see in the report. I think you'll have copies of the report. Is that true? Okay. And I'm going to reference figure numbers to keep us kind of in tune. So if you want to look at your report, make notes, I'll point up here, and hopefully we'll keep these in sync then. But don't hesitate to ask questions as we go along. Buddy didn't say it, but bottom line is we're looking at a recommendation of 5% per year over the next 4 years, and we'll tell you how we got to that then. So it starts out with customer growth. And basically, we look at the customer growth, and it's broken down in more detail in our rate study by residential inside, residential outside, commercial inside, commercial outside. We look at the growth of the number of customers. We look at the usage of the customers. We look at the revenue of the customers. And we sit down then with Shane and with Tim and with Dana and say, okay, what do you think's happening? What's going to happen in the future? When you look at the experience, the tremendous growth that you've experienced, and our understanding is you're going to continue to experience that kind of growth. So we look at that in terms of setting some goals, and you can see then as we total it up here, we're looking over number in 2026, a 2.8% growth in just customers, 3.39, so forth. The usage is going up similarly, and then similarly you got a revenue change of 2 to 3 to 3.9, 4. It's going up and up and up. So we start out recognizing that, and that's a good thing, because you're going to have all that growth coming in that's going to generate new revenue, and so that's going to be the thing. The next few pictures, they may not be necessary. That just shows you visually what's going on in terms of growth, and you can see the inside residential customers, that's going up. Outside residential customers, pretty much flat there. Okay, and the revenue with each of those correspond. On the inside commercial customers, again, you got that growth trending up. You do have a slight upward, but I'll say pretty flat in terms of the outside commercial customers. Total customers, you can see this growth pattern going up, and that's what we're showing you in that page earlier. And the revenue is going up. So you're heading in the right direction in terms of your growth on your revenue. Next thing we look at is your operating revenues, other operating revenues. And so that's going to be things like your inspections, administration, penalties, other operating revenues in there. We look at what was represented in the financial statements from 21 through 24. So all the numbers, by the way, from 21 through 25, 25 actually, because you just finished the 25 audit. Those are all actual numbers, so there's no question about those numbers. So projections are going to be based on 26. So we take a look at those and say, okay, what do we think it's going to look like? And that's the growth we see, and it's a relatively flat growth in terms of other operating revenues. Again, it's mostly based on your metered revenue that's coming out. Next we look at your capital improvement plan. That's the big nut to crack there. As Shane said, you've got a 5-year plan. You've got a lot in the 5-year plan, $49 million worth of city-owned development. And there's going to be an additional 37 million of developer projects that's going to be in there. So you can look at that, and then Shane and Tim have then spread this out over the next 5 years, saying when they expect these projects to come on, what's going to be the capital expenditures then for each of those years. So this is all based on conversations we've had with the 3 folks here. And by the way, it was really great working with all 3. We had no problems working with them at all. So we thank you for that. So, we plug this in, say, here's what's going, then you compute the depreciation. And that's, again, Buddy's gonna maybe emphasize that. I'm gonna emphasize that as well. Tennessee law requires you to depreciate your assets. Depreciation is an expense that's on your financial statement. You must therefore generate enough revenue to cover your depreciation in order for your CMP not to fall. So that's the trick to it. We look at your estimated lives for the different assets that's stated in your financial statement report. And then we show you what the scheduled depreciation is. That's that top line there. And that's basically all your existing assets. And generally, that tails off because those are the assets you take for years. In some cases, they're going to depreciate completely. They're going to be written off the books. So that'll go down. On the other hand, you've got new depreciation. That comes from all the new capital improvements. Another way of looking at this is to look at this picture. In the blue, you can see that's your scheduled depreciation of your existing assets. The orange then represents the new depreciation that comes about by the capital improvement plan. Next thing we look at is general expenses, and that's also just comes directly out of your financial statement. We look at 5 different areas of expenses. We sit down with Shane and Tim and Dana and say, what do you think is going to happen? What kind of ups and downs we're going to have? Again, there's more details underneath this. We're not showing you all the details here, but basically we're looking at a 7% increase over the next 3 years, then 11%, 11%. And I think that 11% also reflects the Metro, the Metro report. We don't know what's going to happen in 2029, right? You just don't know, but chances are pretty good it's going to go up. So I think that's what I'm basing the factor that it's going to go up to, say, 11%. It may not, and that's why Buddy said you really need to look at this year to year and see where are you going.
We also projected in each year, Metros, they go up every year for you. But in 2029, you're looking at a new contract. So that could change quite a bit. We don't know, but that's why we're trying to be as conservative as we can at this point in time. Good job.
Okay. So that's excuse me. So that shows you the general direction then of those expenses. And again, remember that the line that we had on our revenue was going up 4 to 5%, 3, 4, 5%. We go back to that. Expenses are going up 7%. So you're gonna have a gap here. All right. Next thing we do, Buddy said, there's really 2 principal analyses we do. One is called cash flow analysis. And the cash flow analysis is represented by this. Think of it, and again, years 21 through 25, that's actual information from your financial statements. But it flows through, and basically we take your cash beginning at the beginning of the year, we add in the charges for services, your needed services, your other operating revenues, your interest received. Then you take away from that your general expenses. Then you say, okay, what kind of grants you got coming in? What kind of contributions are coming in from customers? And then you subtract out, in this case, changes, if you will. In the past, you have had changes in terms of purchase and sales of investments. You see the investments down at the bottom. Capital expenses, that's coming from that 5-year capital improvement plan. So basically, this is just a running, kind of a balance sheet showing you start at the beginning of the year, you add in the incoming cash, you take out the outgoing cash, here's your cash position. And what it's showing you, if you look at the cash ending June 30th, we did not make any assumptions that you would purchase or sell investments. So that's why you can see that investment line staying flat. Okay, that's going to be up to you as to what you want to do with it. But you can see that in 2026, you got an ending cash balance of $4 million, and then it drops down significantly to $700,000, $900,000, $900,000, back up to $4 million. So you got a little bit of an issue here in 27, 28, and 29. Okay? That suggests you're probably going to need some kind of a rate increase. This shows you visually what it looks like. You can see your cash is high. Now you're spending all this stuff on the capital improvement plans, on your increased operating expenses and so forth. And you can see how cash relates then to your general expenses as well as to your total cash. I will say this, you're in a good position in the sense that your total cash is always above your general expenses. That's kind of a metric we look at, especially. Do you have enough cash, operating cash, to cover your expenses for 1 year? And you do. So you're in a good position there. The next analysis we do is called change in net position analysis. And that's the one that really is the one that drives rate increases. And in fact, is relative to the Tennessee Board of Utility Regulators, that's what they look at. It's called statutory change in net position, which means it's the main change in net position less any grants. They don't take any grants into consideration. Again, it's formatted in a similar fashion as the cash, or the the cash flow analysis, except that this includes depreciation, does not include your capital payments, but it also includes your interest income. So if you look at this, without any rate changes, what we're projecting for 2026 is a statutory change in net position of 2.2 million, then 27, 1.1, 361, and then we get in this trouble area down in 29 and 30, where we're starting to go red. So what we do is then we take a look at how can we, there we go, and there's a graphic of it. And obviously, you don't want to drop down into that red or orange area. So then we look at it in terms of what kind of rates would make sense to keep you in a good cash position and to keep you in a good change in net position. And you can see a line says rate increase, and you can see for 27, we're suggesting a 5% increase, and really just to be conservative and comfortable, 5% for the next 4 years. You may choose, again, we emphasize, do look at this from year to year, because you may find we're doing better or we're doing worse. We need to do something a little different. Okay, so you can update this pretty easily. What this is suggesting is if you do with a 5%, that's going to give you that ending cash position of $4 million. It's going to drop down in 2026 because you got a lot of capital expenditures going on there. You got 11 million coming into 27. It'll drop down to 1.2, then bounce back up to 2.5, 4.3, and then back up to 10. So getting back into that good cash position, you can see them on the graph, the differences there. So you're still above your general expenses. As far as net income or net position, change in net position, again, those rates of 5%, the impact of that is going to give you a statutory net change in position. 25 is already done. 2.5, we're looking at 2.2 for 26. Yeah, for 26, excuse me. 27, 1.6, 1.4, 1.5, 1.5. So those are good, solid positions to be in terms of the sufficiency of the cash to run the operation and to support your change in that position.
Jack, I might point out here also that there's not really any numbers that, if you're just $1 positive in that statutory change in that position, you're okay. But we want to make sure that you're more than just okay. And if you're looking for some kind of rule of thumb as to how much change in that position do we need, I've seen numbers anywhere from about 5% to 10% of your revenue. And that's kind of where we settled on this. You see that you've got a substantial, we're projecting here a substantial amount of change in that position, but you look at your past, that's kind of where you've been. You could have, we're showing $1 million, and you could have, hopefully we won't have anything like a flood anymore or anything like that, but you could have a major expense over $1 million easy. So we want to keep you in a good, comfortable position, and that's really what's driving those 5% increases.
Looking at it visually, you can see it. Buddy says we're trying to get you back in that position you were there in 24, where you're in that $1 to $2 million, that safe position. So this translates into what's it mean to the customer? What's your customer going to look at? And what we got here is some sample monthly wastewater bills. And generally speaking, I think your usage runs as an average. I think it said 5,000, didn't it?
Yeah, close to 5,000.
Close to 5,000.
Right.
So if you look at the 5,000 line in terms of water sold, 5,000 will tell you your current charge right now is $40. You add 5%, they're going to be paying $2 more. So I don't think many customers are going to be complaining about that. And then it's going to go up each year, again, 5%. So, that's from a customer standpoint. And again, your customers better than I do. Okay. how they're gonna react to it. But that's what it's gonna be for your inside city, customers. You can look at the difference then for the outside, or the inside city commercial a little bit higher. But those are gonna be the impact for you. The other thing to show you is how do you look in terms of your nearby utility companies. You know, right now, you can see the Mount Juliet 2026, you're at 4048. In 27, you would be at 4250. So you're going to be a little bit on the high end, certainly not near Metro, but you know, if you look at that line, Brentwood, Douglasville, Mount Juliet, Laverne, you're right in there. You're right in there. So you're not out of line at all with similar utilities.
And I would add here also, I don't know it, but I'd say several of those are probably looking at rate increases for the next couple of years anyway. So they're all going to be moving up a little bit.
So that's a walk through the report. I think I've hit every one of the figures. Do you have any questions at all? Yeah.
What year is the EQ basin supposed to be complete? This year? Okay, so in 2029, when our contract is up with Metro and then we renew the contract, how much is that going to save us? Or
The EQ basin is not going to save us any money. It's just going to make us in compliance with Metro.
Mhm.
If they have some maintenance down the line, or if we have a significant rain event that brings a lot of I&I into our system or theirs, then we will control the flow going to them. If by chance we have a multi-day, say, rain event and our numbers are high from infiltration, then we can control it down to where Metro says, okay, you can only send this many gallons a day in a 24-hour period. So this is just a control device that they've required us to have in place.
okay, and then my other question is about the capacity issue on the east side. Are these numbers taken in consideration, or what we're going to have to spend to get that going?
If you look at the capital improvements, the top one, the Bender's Ferry,
Mm-hmm.
that number would assist if there was an issue.
Yeah, what capacity issue?
Right, if there is an issue. Today, there's not an issue. But if we approve development that exceeds what we have, then that would assist the Bender's Ferry Regional Pump Station. And that's the top line on the capital improvements page of this brochure.
Okay, so we're good there.
We're good today.
Planning for that.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Vice Mayor?
So just ballpark, and I know you may not know the exact number, but those TIF charges that we were getting hit with from Metro when we would send them too much, is that going to be just ballpark? Do we know what that number is?
We don't have a projected cost from Metro at this time.
No, I'm saying in years past though. How much will we
I
spend
would have
ballpark?
to-
Do we know?
Defer to Ms. Hire.
And you can get back to us on it. Again, it was just a question because
I can't say specifically, but I can tell you that on rainy months, we've seen our bills go from 300 to 400,000. So it's probably $100,000 more when we have significant rain events that we
okay.
have to pay Metro.
But back to the commissioner's question, I guess that would be like another opportunity that where we're saving money by installing this incubator to be able to make sure that we help mitigate the TIF charges, correct?
It will be a significant management tool.
Okay.
But I don't think that'll fix I&I in any way.
No, it
No.
won't, but it will manage our flow. If we can reduce our flow in a 24-hour period and expand it to the next day and keep us regulated.
Gotcha.
That's the cost savings.
And it-
Your cost of Metro may be the same because all that water's got to be treated,
Sure.
whether it comes in all at one time or spread out with each basin.
Okay.
Is that right?
Well, we will be penalized though if we exceed a
Right,
daily
right.
amount.
Yeah.
So
And I guess the other side of this, again, because that incubator is going to cost for maintenance. I mean, that's just one side of it. Have we added that in these numbers as also? Or is that something that
operational
was-
cost?
Yes, sir. Was that added in there? Okay.
Operational cost is in there.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that those were added or projected as well.
Right.
Okay. And then, Ms. Dana, you'll be able to get those numbers to us, just like the last 5 years of what we spent in tip charges. Because again, it'd be great to see if there's any savings for, 2027 and on, that we could be able to help mitigate that and put that as a cost avoidance, I guess. Not a savings, but a cost avoidance. So, all right, thank you.
Commissioner Hefner?
It says contract renews in 2029. What month? What day? Is this January 2029 or December 2029? Do we know?
The Metro contract,
Yes.
I want to say April, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah, I've got it on my computer. I don't have my
Yeah, I
computer
don't have the
here.
contract.
When are we planning to start having conversations with them to try to get a better understanding of where they might be? I'm not suggesting renew it early. I'm just saying we're not going to wait until the last.
I would
Minute to start
say in
negotiating.
2028, they would basically come tell us the plan. I
Okay.
don't know that we're in a position to negotiate.
Yeah, correct.
I don't like that, but I think that's the truth.
Well, yeah. Too late to build the
Way too late.
the sewer treatment plant.
Correct. But hey, I'm open for ideas.
And they're not issuing anymore.
They say that, but
Permits.
now Lebanon is exploring that. So maybe,
Well, did they already have one? They're just renewing it, or
to
It's
my
a-
understanding from the media, they're looking to build an additional plant.
an additional one?
But they may take out the existing. I don't know their plans. I
Okay.
shouldn't speak for them. I don't know.
But in any event, it's ship sailed on
Yes.
building a
Yes.
treatment facility.
We had a discussion, I think in 2016, about what it would cost to go to the York Road property. And that time it was estimated 50 million just to reroute the piping, not the cost of the treatment plant.
So 50 million in prep, just before you can get started.
Rerouting of the pipe. Yeah, because our direction of flow now goes west towards Nashville.
The toilets would need to spin the other way.
Okay.
Mr. Martin?
Yeah, sorry to chime in. I was going to answer the question that Commissioner Hefner had. We've been meeting with Metro for years. I think 10, 12, 15 years ago with that same question. And it's not that they skirt around it. They just don't know yet. As we get closer to it, they'll probably want to give us a final number. But I can assure you, we will talk to them each year going forward. And if we can gather and garner any information that's of concern or to share with the Board of Commissioners, we will.
Well, I think to answer my question, it's not a negotiation. This is what your rate's going to be. It's just a question of how early are we going to get that advance notice?
sir.
Well, we had a few leverage, I don't know if I say leverage points, but we had some concessions that were made back according to the conversations with the man who was in the negotiations. And that involved us in taking over some failing sewer systems as part of that. And that was kind of some leverage to clean up some things around here.
That conversation is current.
Yes, we all watch the news.
And Mayor, there may be some more information coming on it. Like I said, Mr. Tim and I talked about that today, and I had a meeting last week with some reps from that organization. So hopefully be more to come soon. It might be in favor for the city.
And we are upstream from their drinking water.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. I'll move to adjourn. I'll take that as a second. Any objections? Hearing none, we're adjourned.